Hey everyone, this is Michael Sadler of Saga, and you're listening to the Nothing Shocking podcast.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied, and with me in Dog Bowl Studios is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Libsyn or any podcatchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at NoShockPod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Ragged Records, located in downtown Rock Island, Illinois, and downtown Davenport, Iowa. We would like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for allowing us to use their music for our intro and bumper ending. Tonight's guest is
Michael Sadler of Saga.
Promoting the band's 45th anniversary. They're touring right now as we speak in support of it.
And we talked a little bit about their album from 2021, Symmetry.
Yeah, excellent album. Hey, let's get to that interview.
All right, good night.
Good night. Michael, welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'd like to introduce you, my co-host, Jeff Untied.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure, man.
Well, recently Saga performed on the Cruise to the Edge, the luxury Prague cruise. Can you talk more about the cruise, the experience it was for you and the rest of the band, and was this a first for Saga?
This was not a first. It was actually, I think, our third or fourth time there as a band. I did it once on my own. There was an occasion when Fish was supposed to be one of the performers on the cruise, and 3 days before he had to cancel. And Larry Moran, the organizer and promoter, called me up and said, Michael, I'm kind of in a bind. Fish has canceled. I want to know, it's too late to get the band, but could you do it? And I kind of said to him, what do you mean, can I do it? He said, what do you want me to do, like a song and dance? I don't know. I said, he said, we'll figure something out. You know enough musicians on the boat. You can throw something together. I said, really? He said, yeah, and you could do some co-hosting and that kind of thing. I said, sure, So that was kind of fun. I put together, there was a band called Enchant from California.
Mm-hmm.
Was kind of familiar with the Saga material, and I got them as my surrogate Saga band, and we did a set on that occasion. But it wasn't the first time. And I have to say, I when we were first approached to do it, I had my apprehensions about it, just thinking, first of all, like, wow, great, a 5-day cruise, all expenses paid out in the ocean. This is going to be kind of cool down, cruising around the Caribbean. And then I thought to myself, well, hang on a second. we're going to be on this boat with, I don't know how many thousand progressive rock fans in pretty close quarters, and there's no escape really. You're like nowhere you can go. You're in 5 days. You're kind of captive there. And I thought, my first thought was this is going to be kind of intrusive and whatever. But it's kind of part of the job, as it were. But I found them to be incredibly respectful. They don't, not a matter of like getting in your face. If you're eating, they don't approach you. It's all very much like, excuse me, Mr. Sadler, could I get a photo with you? Could I get an autograph here and there? And it was very, very cool. And it's just like a big community of musicians and fans alike, and it's a very, very cool experience. So, whenever we get asked to do it, scheduling permitted, we always say yes for sure.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
I guess, the post-COVID and pre-COVID, we've seen more and more of these rock-themed cruises out there. It seems like there's so many. As far as the one that you've participated on, is this the only cruise that you and the rest of the band perform on, or do you guys participate in any other rock cruises?
It's the only one we've been invited to thus far. I know that there's a couple now popping up in Europe where they do. There's one that I think goes up and down the Rhine, and there's one I think in the North Sea and that kind of thing. But so far, Cruise to the Edge is the only one that we've been approached to do so far.
Oh, very good.
Cool.
Saga also performed in Puerto Rico on, I believe, May 13th. Can you tell us a little bit more about the experience of performing in Puerto Rico?
Well, Puerto Rico goes way back for us. As a matter of fact, this is kind of strange because of all the markets in the world, Puerto Rico and Germany were the first two markets where the band really took off. Now, these are like kind of polar opposites in terms of culture and then lifestyle and that kind of thing. And to this day, I can't really explain why those two territories, except for maybe, I don't know, the sort of more rhythmic, maybe funkier side of the band, with Steve Negus, original drummer, coming from a sort of R&B kind of background,
sure,
infused into the music, and then the more orchestral, epic-y, synth sounds and orchestration in a lot of the music. Maybe that appeals to the Europeans. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with. But I just know that at the very beginning, the management approached us and said, we've got an offer to play in Puerto Rico, and our response was, where? Well, it's this island in the Caribbean. We said, in the Caribbean. Yeah, the idea is we're going to go down for 2 weeks. You could do it a concert like in the weekend in the middle of it. We're going to like a little free holiday. We said, okay, I'm in. and we went down and we sold out this place. I think basketball arena was like between 6,000 and 7,000 people, and we'd only sold about, I don't know, between 50 and 100 copies of the first album down there, but. It was all, one guy gets it and makes 10 cassettes and puts it, sends it around to their friends and that. And word just spread throughout the island really fast with the help of this radio station who was just playing the crap out of our music down there. And, one thing led to another, and we found ourselves doing this sold-out show for the very first time down in Puerto Rico, these rabid fans. It was quite remarkable. I mean, one distinct memory was sitting on the beach, you suddenly find yourself in the Caribbean. I mean, on a free holiday, that was cool enough. And I'm sitting there, I think, with one of the sound guy, one of the techs, and I heard some music coming, and it's getting louder and louder. And it's this kid walking down the beach with his bathing suit on. He's got a ghetto blaster on his shoulder, and it starts to sound more and more familiar. And as it got closer, I realized it was a song called "Humble Stance" from the first album.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's not even really a rock and roll tune per se. And he's just bopping down the beach, and I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with this picture? It just seems so surreal. But they latched onto it. I mean, the biggest song down there for us and the Puerto Ricans is a song called "The Perfectionist," and it's an out-and-out waltz. So I don't get it. I mean, everything else on the island is all salsa music, and that's it, and I mean, I'm not complaining. They've been we've been down there 15, 16 times over the years, and each time it just gets better and better, and it's like family. But it's quite remarkable.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, I mean, as a songwriter and an artist, what's that like hearing your song on the radio or for that first time or?
Oh, there's nothing like it. I mean, you know what it's like as a songwriter. You put some stuff together. You just cross your fingers that someone's going to like it.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing on the radio the first time was one thing, which was kind of cool. But I remember vividly the first album came out, and I went downtown Toronto to the big record shop, one of the two record shops there, and it was either A&A or Sam's. I think it was Sam's record shop. And I just wanted to see the album in the racks, to see that it was real. And, I went to the S section. Of course, it's miscellaneous S's because you only got one album, so you don't have your own section. So, I was standing there flipping through the S's. And actually, before I got a chance to get to that section, this guy very determinedly walked past me, and he went straight to the miscellaneous S section, flipped through them, pulled out the first album. I was standing there watching him do this. and he grabbed it. Didn't even, didn't think twice about this. Exactly what he wanted. I watched him walk up to the cashier, put it down, on the counter, took out his money. They put it in the bag. He walked out of the store, and I went, "Oh my God, it's real! Somebody actually just bought our music." I got such a kick out of it. It kind of validated the whole thing. I thought, "Wow, this is getting. I think we've got potential." So
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
Oh, so cool.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
June 13th, Saga will be celebrating the band's 45th anniversary. You being the co-founding member, what does the band have in the works for commemorating the band's 45th anniversary?
Well, it'll be right in the middle of this latest batch of shows that we're doing over in Europe. We'll actually be in a place called Neulingen, just outside of Frankfurt, and we have a few surprises. We've thrown a few special songs into the set, but I mean, the fact that it's 45 years is celebration enough. I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, we got to 10 years and I was pinching myself, and then we got to 20, and then it just became ridiculous after that. And when I realized it's actually been 45 years, 2/3 of my life has been spent in this band, and that's remarkable enough. So it's going to be quite an evening. I can't, give away too much, obviously, but it's going to be a pretty special night.
Oh, fantastic. Jeff,
Yeah.
do you have the next one, or do you want me to take the next one?
Yeah, March of 2021, you guys released a new album, Symmetry. Can you talk a little bit about that process? There are acoustic versions of previously released songs?
Well, we decided. I mean, we had talked for a long time about doing some, acoustic renderings of some of the songs, and it wasn't really, what it came time to do. We didn't want to just do a sort of standard unplugged album, meaning, you take the songs in their existing form and just play them on acoustic guitar and a real piano. We wanted to do more to it. We wanted to do sort of newer versions of them and kind of shake it up a bit, cello and this accordion on there. There's I think Ian played some. I don't think he played banjo. It might have been some ukulele thrown in here and there, but there's no electric guitar. It's all all done on acoustic guitar. All the normal soloing that he would do, he's just burning on an acoustic instead of an electric, which is hard enough for him. I think between he and I, we had perhaps the toughest job of interpreting the songs because I had to. I couldn't sing full voice in some of the tunes. It just wasn't appropriate. So I would have to kind of reinvent the melodies a little bit here and there, and we messed with the arrangements. So it was really it was a real challenge for us. It was, a very satisfying album to do, but probably one of the more challenging ones to do. I think the general misconception at the beginning, before people could, had a chance to hear it, it was like, Saga's about to, release an unplugged album. They must need, it's a filler to, buy some time before the next studio record. And we had to keep saying, no, you don't understand. This is not your ordinary unplugged record. It's a standalone that we spent a very long time working on. And once people, had a chance to hear it and realize, listen to it for what it was received that way. And actually, it charted very, very high, much higher than we expected to do. So,
nice.
It was a real labor of love. But like I say, it was quite a challenge to pull it off. You're doing songs like "Wind 'Em Up" that charted pretty heavily in the United States and generally worldwide. It's a well-known song, and to break that down into acoustic instruments, and again, changing the melody a little bit and trying to get inventive with it. That was extremely challenging, but I'm very pleased with the album.
Well, you released Symmetry right smack in the middle of the COVID pandemic of March 2021. But what was the thought process of you guys releasing it right in the middle of the pandemic? Did you guys have any, maybe thoughts of maybe waiting a little bit, or how was it going to work out? Was it always going to be what it was, March 2021?
Well, not so much the release date, but what it did do, what COVID did do, is afford us the time to work on a record like that because, everyone's got us stuck at home. And it really was, because it wasn't new material. I would never attempt to do a new, full-on band album of new material with everyone isolated and sending tracks around. You can do that, but it's not the same as having everybody in the studio together or the rehearsal room and pounding out the songs and just really working on them. So I by choice I would not do that, But with this one, because they're existing songs, it really was up to the individual to reinterpret their approach to the track. So for that, it was perfect timing because, like I say, we're all stuck at home. We're quarantined at home pretty much. So that afforded us the luxury of being able to sit and just concentrate on doing only that. And the timing worked out such that by the time it was done and ready for release, it was right in the middle of everyone being at home and kind of starved for new material. So it kind of worked out really well in our favor. It was not planned, trust me. It really wasn't.
Very good.
We did not start this thing.
Well, I always say to my wife, is like, it's really weird during the COVID pandemic. That's when Netflix brought out Tiger King and then the Last Dance with the Michael Jordan documentary. It just so happened it all started on the COVID-19. How bizarre was that? But so be it.
Yeah. No kidding. I know. It's just, but it was all, it's just a bizarre timing that, kind of, I don't want to say worked in our favor, but like I say, more than anything, it gave us the time to work on something that we'd been wanting to work on for quite some time, and there we found ourselves with the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about wind him up a little bit. Did your son Steven do a cameo vocal in that?
He did. I mean, originally it's a gambling song and a song about gambling, and in the middle or in that second verse. There was I believe the son or nephew of the studio owner in England at Farmyard Studios. We wanted a little voice saying, no luck today, and we used him as the voice. And when it came time to do it, I thought, well, I've got Saren right here, and I said to the guys, do you mind if I use Saren as the new Benji was his name? And they said, we just assumed you were going to, So I put him in front of the microphone. I had him say it about 15, 16 times. Chose the best one, and there he was. That's his debut, his singing debut, as it were. I mean, it's not really singing per se, but hey, listen, he's on a record.
That's awesome.
So,
very cool. Tired World is my favorite track. Can you talk about the recreative process of Tired World?
Tired World is one of those where that's one of the more challenging ones because, it's relatively iconic for the band anyway, but it's especially relatively exciting, especially the back half of the song. And Ian, I was talking about Ian and the challenge that he had playing everything on acoustic guitar. And I was wondering, when it came to when we chose that track, we purposely tried to pick tracks that were not expected for us to do. It's like, how can you possibly do a song like Tired World in that kind of form?
Sure.
Maybe some of the ballads or the more laid-back tunes, perhaps. So we wanted to think outside of the box and be a little bit unexpected. We chose that one, and I remember thinking, I don't know how Ian's going to approach the solo section at the back of this song, but I listened to it when he was done with it, and I thought, my God, it's almost more exciting listening to him play those kind of licks and that fast on an acoustic guitar than it is listening to the studio version with the electric, because the challenge of playing that quickly on an acoustic guitar, any guitar player, it's much more difficult to get an excitement out of the instrument when you're doing that kind of fast playing. But damn, I listened back and I thought, Jesus, this guy's he's just a remarkable guitar player to begin with. But I listened to that, and it's extremely exciting. And you wouldn't think it would be because of the instrumentation and the kind of song that it's supposed to be. But it just brought a whole new level of adventure, I guess, to it. But I remember just my jaw hit the floor when I heard what he had done with it.
Oh, so cool!
Nice.
As Saga evolved throughout the past 45 years, how has the band's writing and recording matured? Has it been kind of status quo over the years, or has there been a noticeable changes throughout?
You know what? I think if there's been any changes, and there have been, they've always been organic. I don't think we've ever sat down and said, this is the kind of record we're going to make this time, per se. We always, kind of look at it and go, what kind, what mood are we in? We've never gone, what do you think the audience wants from us at this point? It's always been, what are we happy playing? Because I think if you start making music specifically what the audience is expecting, you're going to have to compromise a little bit of what you might prefer to do, as it were. You have to work within the parameters of what got you where you are,
Sure.
obviously, because that's the makeup of the band. So you have to keep that in mind. Of course, you can't go completely left field. You're going to leave people in the dust, and that's not why you're doing this. You're doing it for the fans, obviously, and you want people to enjoy it. But you do have to do what makes you happy, because if you're all five of us are really getting off on a song and it's really getting us going, it's only going to sound that much better if we're playing it that way. You're going to put the humanity in that song. You're going to feel everyone performing at the their highest level, because you're really enjoying what you're doing. And that also comes with the songwriting. And it's always been a matter of, all five of us have to be excited by a track. Because if one person kind of goes, well, it's not my favorite song, but I guess we need one for the album. If you guys really like it, then fine. That one individual, as I was talking about with everyone, really enjoying the track, if that one individual is not that into the song, they're not going to play it the way that they would if they were really into it. They will, put their parts in, they'll play it well, but they won't put that extra, that little extra spark that they would if they really, really enjoyed it. So it's always been very democratic. If one person is not crazy about it, we won't do that song. And also the other parameter that we've always, or the guideline we've always lived by, is that if one section remotely reminds anybody of something else, either by us or by someone else, we won't use it. Because it just, why tempt fate? Why do something that possibly someone else is going to? Oh, they're going to listen to it later and say, oh, I see, they were influenced by such and such for this song, because can't you tell that reminds me of so-and-so, or that reminds me of so-and-so, or something they did on the third album, or whatever. I'd rather everything be as fresh as possible. So we if somebody goes, wow, that reminds me of, okay, we're not using that. We won't even give it the time of day.
Well, that's so refreshing, because we hear so many bands say, I was heavily influenced by... Oops, hold on.
Is that me? Sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Pause that for a second.
Sorry about that.
Okay, let's go back. Let me reform that question again. So you hear a lot of bands will say, well, we got in the studio and we were heavily influenced by such and such band or such and such artist at that time, so it really came out in this album. It's really refreshing to hear you say, it's like, no, we don't want to do that at all.
Well, no, but I mean, having said that, I mean, you're going to be, you may be influenced by or we're really turned on by some new music or whatever, but it's not a matter of the specifics. But I got, for example, me, if I'm writing in writing mode and I hear something really cool, it inspires me. Not to sound like that or write something like that, but it inspires me in terms of how it excites me coming up with something new. So in other words, it's not like, that inspired me to write something like that. It inspires me to write something that gets me going as much as that does. In other words, it just gets the creative juices flowing that much more. So there's going to be influences, but not influences that influence the actual writing, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, being part of the honing your craft for 45 years and singing, do you have to do anything special to keep your voice strong and going, or do you practice a lot, or do you just show up and sing?
You know what? The only thing I've ever done was spend 8 years in a church choir when I was like from 8 years old to 15 or 16. Other than that, I don't stand in the dressing room warming up before a show. I have no particular vocal exercises. I don't have a warm cup of tea with honey in it or anything of that nature. I will cough twice and I'm ready to go. I don't do scales and that. People, it really infuriates other singers and other people because they're trying to get my secrets. What do you do to keep your voice after all these years? I mean, it's you're in your mid 60s and you're still singing like you were 25 years old. What's your secret? I don't have one, and they get really mad at me. Sorry, I wish I could tell you. I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm blessed or whatever. I'm very lucky, man.
Absolutely. So kind of wanted to move this over to Progject, the mastermind of Jonathan Mover, former Nothing Shocking podcast guest. But can you talk a little bit more about Progject and what is the band all about?
Well, it's really, as opposed to it being, some people want to say, well, it's a tribute band. A tribute band usually is a band that, say there's a Van Halen tribute band, you're going to get guys that, look as much as possible like the members of the band.
Sure.
And it's going to be all Van Halen material. Or an AC/DC tribute band is all AC/DC material. This is more an homage to the genre of progressive rock. So we're doing like specifically like late 60s, 70s classic progressive rock, Emerson, Lake and Palmer and King Crimson and stuff like that, and stuff that we really got off on and inspired us in our early years. And I mean, I got a call one day from Jonathan. He was putting this project together, and he was looking for a singer. He was speaking to someone, and they said, "Why don't you try Sadler?" And he said, "Well, I would, but he's probably, he's probably tied up with Saga, and he may not be interested in something like this anyway." He said, "Well, give him a shot." He called me up and explained exactly what it was, and I said, "Listen," I said, "if you're willing to work around my schedule with Saga, because Saga for the foreseeable future is going to be the primary focus of my attention. If you can work around my touring schedule with Saga, touring and recording schedule with Saga, I'm in." And he said, "Absolutely. And if that's the case, I'm willing to do that. Then let's do this." And I didn't hesitate because as a singer, what's really cool about it is I'm getting to sing sort of outside my comfort zone, as it were. And like I enjoy doing outside projects for the same reason, but with this, I'm getting to sing like Genesis songs I've always wanted to sing, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Carnival 9 is one of my favorite songs to sing during the set, for example. It was semi-challenging, but also a great joy to do, and everyone's having such a blast doing it. I mean, there are just smiles on stage from the beginning of the set to the end, and it's a remarkable, it's just a joyful thing to be doing. And then, like I say, I didn't hesitate at the prospect of doing it.
Oh, so cool.
Nice. Well, you guys just completed like a 1 month spring tour. How'd that go?
Way, way better than we had expected. We had hoped that, that some people would turn out. What was funny was near the beginning, the sales were okay. Nothing, overly soft, and nothing like, sell out of the box kind of thing, just with the mere announcement of the personnel. The pedigree, of the individuals kind of did some selling for us, and the prospect of what it was. But people were kind of unsure. It's like, well, is it a tribute band? Is it just this? Is it there's just a bunch of guys playing other guys' songs? But it is much more than that. And the more people came out to the first few shows, the buzz started happening, and the reviews of people that did come out to see it were remarkably positive. I mean, just over the top positive. So in other words, anybody sitting on the fence about it suddenly were buying tickets. And I think it was one of two things. Either they were going, "Oh, that just confirmed it," because I've just, people are coming out of the show going, "You've got to see this." It's either those people doing that, or, how it is. So you get told something's really good or really bad, and someone goes, "Well, you know what? I'm going to decide for myself."
Right.
It can't be that good, or it can't be. Here's a great example. The movie Gigli. Everybody was freaking out about how bad it was, and I think it made more in DVD rentals for that reason, because people couldn't believe that it was actually that bad. So my wife and I actually rented it for that reason, and yep, sure enough, it is. No offense to the stars, but come on, man. But no, I mean, overall, we couldn't be happier with the response. Every single venue we played, we finished the show and talked to them afterwards. They said, "We want you back as soon as you can possibly get here." So
nice.
There's no doubt that the next round, if we play those same venues, they will be sold out, and new ones as well. So we're getting calls from all over the place, and contact from Canada, Europe, Japan, Australia. They want to see this, so we couldn't be happier.
Will it ever be a thing where Progject might do some of their own writing and recording of their own music, or is that just something that you guys don't want to touch?
Well, it's not a matter of not wanting to touch it. It's not the focus, and it's not the priority. Obviously, it's not what we had planned on. I'm not going to rule that out. No one in the band is ruling that out. I think if any of you ask any of the guys in the band, you're going to get the same kind of reaction, same answer, that if it does happen, it's going to happen organically, and it'll happen because it's supposed to, and the timing and everything. And God knows, if we said tomorrow, let's do one more tour of doing this, but while we're doing that, let's start, let's putting our heads together, and any original material we can think of, let's start putting some stuff together, and with the thing, thinking that perhaps we can do an album eventually. But that's not the case at this point. Like I say, if it happens, great. It's not something that we had planned on, but the question comes up a lot, as you can well imagine. But I do know, I'm convinced that that these individuals, if the five of us put our heads together and we decided to do an album, it would be killer. I guarantee it.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, just seeing the videos I saw piqued my interest. I'm going to ask you a little bit about one of your bandmates. I'm going to probably butcher this a little bit, but Ryo Akimoto. He's got a new solo album. I think it's his first solo album in 20 years, The Myth of the Mostrophus. And I think you're playing a part in that.
I do, yeah. Rio, he finally put together this solo album he's been working on for quite some time. Wanted to do it. He enlisted the help of a lot of friends. Asked me to do the vocals on the lead vocals on one of the tracks. He's got Mike Keneally from Progject on it. He's got Jonathan Mover on one or two tracks. It's a pretty cool album. I mean, I've not heard the whole thing, but the track that I did with him is a pretty cool album. But yeah, I mean, it was a matter of Michael, could you sing on my album? I'd love to have you singing one of the tracks, and it wasn't like well, let's negotiate my fee. It was it really is a quid pro quo kind of situation. I mean, if I ever need some keyboards, obviously I will, and I need, the kind of playing that he can do, I will turn to him for some keyboard parts. Same thing with Jonathan. If I need some drums or if anybody needs my vocals within the band, of course we're going to help each other out. But, I love doing guest vocals for other people. It's just something that, again, I referred to early in the conversation about, singing outside of my comfort zone. It's just, I love a challenge. I like to be able to stretch my vocal chops with other styles and that. So it's a lot of freedom to. And I mean, 90% of the time, I'm given a project and given pretty fair reign or freedom to do what I want with it, because I mean that's why I'm being hired. In other words, it's like we want your voice specifically for this track. So with that comes the way along with that comes my way of approaching a song. So they expect that. They will give me perhaps parameters and say, look, this is how I was hearing it. You can just run with it. You can use that, or if you want to change the melody, go ahead. If you want to change some lyrics, go ahead. So for that reason, it's a lot of fun for me to do. And like I say, outside of my comfort zone, give me a chance to just try different things. So it's a lot of fun. I will, but I can sing most things. But what I will always say is, well, send me the track. I'll listen to it, and I'll be honest with you. And if I think that I'm not going to bring to the table or bring to the song what it deserves, or it doesn't suit my voice, or vice versa, and I will tell them that, because I could go ahead and sing it, but it's not going to be. It's like when I was talking about when Saga's writing a song. If if there's a song that the other four want to do, I'm not that into it. I'll sing it, but not the way I would sing it if I loved the song. Same vibe. So I'll sing it for you and take your money, but you're not going to get the kind of performance that you would get if I was really into the track. So, I have turned things down for that reason, and I think it's only fair to the artist involved and to the audience also.
Well, I got one more question for you, and then we'll let you go for the evening. The internet, social media has kind of taken the mystery out of rock and roll. But prior to the dawning of the internet, prior to social media, rock and roll had a mystique, a mystery to it. Bands like Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Kiss, et cetera, et cetera. We can just go right down the list. With like I said, with the social media now, there's no big secret to rockers' lifestyles anymore. It's out there. For you, for a musician that's been around for the last 45 years in the same band, you've seen the waves of rock and roll and popular culture and the mystery of it all.
Yep.
And in these days, what is your preference? Do you miss the mystery of rock and roll, or do you like the accessibility of what social media and the internet gives us?
The one thing I do miss, I know exactly what you mean, and that the romantic side of things and the mystery of it is kind of gone to a degree, or to a great degree, and I agree with it. I miss people going to the record store and getting the album and putting it on and looking at the album cover and reading the lyrics and staring at it while they're listening to it and that. everything's so immediate now, so that's kind of out the window. People still kind of do that, but not to the degree they used to. Everything's so immediate now. But you know, the way I look at it is that it's different now, and you can use it to your advantage, and you don't have to be as transparent as the medium can allow you to be. You can reveal as much as you want to reveal. You know, someone can ask you a question. You are not under no obligation to answer it by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
Or you can give them the kind of answer that is extremely mysterious and very vague, and you can build that into it. But it is what you make it, and you can use it to your advantage. You know, I think about these guys that. You know, the classic rockers, as it were, sitting around going, well, things aren't the way they used to be, and things are so different now, and blah, 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 and this, and you know what I feel like saying to them? I say, okay, look, you can do one of two things. It ain't going back to the way it was before. So either reinvent yourself and you know, adapt to the new regime, as it were, and the new medium, and use it to your advantage and have fun with it, or don't complain. Because it's not going back to the way it was. So if you don't like, you know, the way it is now, then either don't be involved with it, but don't sit there like a bump on a log on the couch going, I really miss the good old days. Listen, you were a creative person. What happened to the creativity? Here's your chance to be creative again. It's a brand new medium. Use it your way. You know. So that's all. You know. But I do miss the romantic side of it. Like I say, you know, the mystery and finding out about, you know, the scandalous things, you know, the rumors and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I mean, I do miss it, but like I say, you know, just use the new medium and make it what it is. You can still be mysterious. You can just blatantly tell lies. start your own rumors. I mean, come on. And you know what? The rumors go around even faster.
Very true. Very true. Well said. We've come down to our allotted time. Is there anything that we left off tonight that you would like to promote or plug?
You know what? Not specifically. Just the Saga's alive and well, and we you know, the cruise show that we just did, and the shows we just did on the cruise, and the Puerto Rico show. The first show is obviously in just over 2 years. Now that things are opening up again, we're getting back on the road. We can't wait to get back on stage. Saga has always been very much a live act. We really enjoy the contact with the audience. I've always enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see everybody again. I'm pretty sure, you know, after 45 years, I'd love to hit the big 50, and I'm pretty sure that there's at least one more album in us, one more studio album in us, and I'd like to make that our swan song, and not just for the sake of getting one more out there. I'd like to make it, you know, an album like Worlds Apart, not sounding like it, but in the sense of really, really working on a really fine record. If it's going to be the last one, I want it to be the right kind of record. So I wouldn't be surprised in like a couple of years you're going to see brand new product. But for now,
nice.
Alive and well and kicking, I'm singing more than I have ever sung on people's projects, and I guess as long as the voice, as long as the voice is still there and the people still want to hear what I have to offer, then I'll be doing side projects and whatever comes along. So.
Well, you have us excited. So this is how it's going to work. We have about 4 weeks worth of interviews to release before yours. So we're looking at toward the end of June, and we'll make sure we get this to your wife. So have her put it out there on the social medias wherever she can.
It'll be just, you know what? It'll be just in time for my birthday.
Hey, nice. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. You were a great interview.
My pleasure, man. Anytime. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to get in touch with myself or Gwen, yeah?
Thank you so much.
Right.
We appreciate it. Take care of yourself.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
You too, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.